is primarily for financial astrologers and for people who use the timing solution software who want to learn a little bit more about astro timing techniques. I'll be previewing a couple of techniques for using the all-time high prices of different tradables, creating a natal chart and then using that to be able to pick change in trend times. I'll be using gold here as an example. You can use this on any commodity. For stocks, you can use first trade charts or this technique. I would recommend for commodities and Forex currency pairs to use this technique. If you compare this to what you're doing with first trades, I think you're probably going to like this a little bit better. I'll be using gold as an example. I'll be using the Exchange Traded Fund. GLD is the symbol. It tracks gold exactly. If you were to plot COMEX gold in this chart, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. The difference for us is that gold has been incredibly volatile, and it may not be suitable for the average trader to trade gold futures right now. We're going to look at the all-time high, which is right here. Let me zoom in on it. Now you can see that these two, looks like a little double top pattern here. Let's zoom in even more. This was the all-time high closing price. This had a slightly higher intraday price, but if you were to look at any momentum indicator, this would show you that this was the momentum high. This had a low momentum. So I'm using this date right here for my all-time high date. That date is August 22nd, 2011. And here it is, August 22nd, 2011. I'm setting it for noontime, New York City, Eastern Daylight Time. Calculate. Let's just verify that we have it set. There it is, August 22nd, 2011. Now, what you would do now is hit this astrological techniques button here to look at the transit chart for that date. You would click this button, then click this date to look at a transit chart. If I do that, see, I'm looking at that transit chart now. You can't see it. For some reason, my video recording software won't pick up that particular chart. So what I did was I took a picture of it, and we'll look at that. And there it is. When I look at this chart, I'm going to look at it both geocentrically and in declinations. Geocentrically, I can see that the sun is very well situated. I have several aspects, hard aspects. When you go and do this technique, you're going to have to click this techniques button and set the 45-degree angle. It's not set as a default. I can't get it to come up as a default. So every time I do this, I have to go and ask for the 45-degree angle in addition to the conjunction, the sextile, the trine, and all those others. But you can see that the sun has got hard aspects to Saturn, Neptune. We have 45 degrees to Mars, conjunction to Venus. This is an excellent chart for an all-time high. The sun's in Leo. The sun rules gold. The sun right here is, in point of fact, very well situated to use for analysis. When I look at declinations, I can also see that the moon is parallel Mars, and I can also see in declinations that the sun has a very close relationship to Jupiter and Venus. So this is all good. It's pointing to a very powerful sun, and it's showing me that the moon and Mars can also be used for timing. So let's do that. Let's go to ULE, Edit, Aspects. Let's select the transit moon. Let's do the simplest possible thing you can do here, which is a lunar return. Transit moon, conjunct, natal moon, find the culmination, add it, that didn't work. Get rid of it. And we want to change this to geocentric right now. So transit moon, conjunct natal moon in geocentric. And there it is. Calc it. So this is a very simple chart. We'll look at some stuff that's a little bit more accurate in a moment, but I just wanted to show you that even something this simple, here's my start, all-time high. This is during the fall, but first occurrence is a pivot, second occurrence is a pivot. See this rising trend line, the break, falling trend line, rising trend? I have a triangle here, and the breakout from the triangle occurred on the next occurrence. Not much here, but a pivot here, minor pivot here, minor pivot here, minor pivot here. Another pivot. Now, this is a rather simple technique, and we're going to make it a little more complex. You can see that, like that we're doing this every now and then. It seems to be irrelevant during strong market moves, but all in all, this very simple technique of a lunar return is holding its own as a pivot picker. Just wanted to show you that it's still picking pivots 1 year out, almost a year out, still picking pivots. I'm sorry, way more than a year out. That was August of 2011. Let's get back there. Now, before I show you the next technique that you can do with this, that'll be a little bit more powerful. What I wanted to tell you why you want to do this is, well, you see, I put out some other videos there of swing pivots for stocks using natals, planetary line intersects. The ideal way to deal with this is to create your own personal calendar and put in, per market, the turning point dates, the predicted swing pivot dates for non-correlated timers. You see, the swing pivot technique, the planetary line intersect, the all-time high natal chart usage I am showing you here, they're all non-correlated. And if they're all picking approximately the same turning point date, then your probability of success is increased. So while most of these techniques seem to stand alone fairly well for swing trading, short-term swing trading, they're going to be enhanced if you apply it the way I just recommended. Now we know that the moon is the sun is the ruler, and it's also very well situated. So you could change this to the sun. Let's just do this very quickly because that's not the most powerful technique. Let's calc that. And, you know, bottom of the pivot, bottom of the pivot. Actually, that is the bottom of the pivot because it's between these 2 days, bottom of the pivot. Bottom, not much there, not much there. Pivot, another pivot. So that's the sun and the moon together. But the sun's really powerful in this chart. So the best thing to do might be to try and use the sun directly. Let's do a sun. Transit sun, let's do this. We're going to do the conjunction, of course, but we also want to do the hard angles. The 90, the 180, and the 45 hard angles. Natal, Moon, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. So you're wondering, well, the moon is always a timer. It's related to the sun. I just want to make sure, let you see how did you come up with those. Let's look at the declination chart. We can see that the sun is conjunct, parallel, Jupiter and Venus, and the moon is parallel or conjunct Mars. Jupiter and Mars are reciprocals. Also, when I look at the geocentric chart of the all-time high, I see that the sun, within half a degree, has a 45-degree angle with Saturn. Venus has a 45-degree angle with Saturn in under 1.5 degrees. Mars, in less than 1.5 degrees, has a square with Saturn. So I can see that Saturn's also relevant. So I just wanted you to see how I got those planets. I'm not just making them up because they might look good when I actually run this. So let's replace it. And when I do this, it gets really interesting. The all-time high had a cluster. My next cluster was down here. My next cluster is a pivot. My next small cluster is a breakout. Downsloping trend line, breakout right at that little cluster. I mean, this is actually very, very nice for timing, breakout. And if you would have exited here, that's perfect because all the market did was just nothing. And then the breakout from the nothing is the next cluster. It's a cluster right on a pivot. That's the lowest low in 3 months right there. That's the lowest low for 3 months, this bar. That's your next cluster. It's a pivot. It's a major pivot. It's hard to tell what the hell that is, so let's let that one go. You can draw a long downsloping trend line. In the breakout, there's also a triangle pattern, as you can see. It's a triangle chart pattern. The breakout from the triangle is right at the next cluster. It goes to the next cluster. The next cluster is a pivot. Next cluster is, well, it's only 2, but it's a pivot. Next cluster, upsloping trend line breakout. Bottom. Next cluster. Next cluster. This one's off by a few days, but this will continue to work as long as that all-time high is not taken out. So it could last for years. You can do other things with this, of course. You can take, for example, the moon, just conjunct. I'll let you guys experiment on your own later, but I just wanted to show you that this is a very interesting technique. We want to do this in declination. So again, we're going to the natal. We're going to do it in declination. Replace. Calculate. You know, this is very crowded, but what you're looking for is clusters. So maybe we need to take the quicker planets out and just leave these guys, the larger ones. Still kind of crowded, but when you zoom in, you'll be able to take a look and form an opinion on your own if you think it's useful. Basically, the sun cluster, because the sun is the ruler, will be more useful.